And welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining me today is Vasyl Shapchenko, former Minister of Transportation in the Ukraine. Vasyl, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Nice to see you.
Likewise. How's it going over there right now in the Ukraine?
To be honest, today is quite difficult to overcome because of continuing shelling by Russia Federation Ukraine territory. They changed their tactics and started shelling civilian objects. First of all, in this month, they have committed few missiles blow to civilian infrastructure and electricity grid. And today, to be honest, we have had air alert 3 times. And we received electricity only half hour before our conversation, and because government of Ukraine calls on Ukrainians to save up electricity because we must have time to repair our electricity grid to provide Ukraine electricity. And I think that Russia Federation faced with their losses at the battle line decided to attack civilians. Today in the morning at 7:20 a.m. they hit by missiles to school, primary school, and then they were shelling civilian cities at the east part of Ukraine. They are using missiles, short range, and then they decided to shoot and to destroy Ukrainian electricity grid, and committed their hits to western part of Ukraine, and they destroyed electricity grid in 2 cities, and it's Lutsk and Rivne. And I'd say that they will continue trying to fight with civilians just to undermine morale of Ukrainians, and I think that they will achieve nothing because we are ready to fight, and we are ready to be with our army, who only in this month have captured, retaken 44 settlements at the south of Ukraine. And I'd commented that now Ukrainians have surrounded Russian troops at the right side of bank of the Dnieper in the side of Kherson. And there are about 20,000 Russian soldiers, including new drafted conscripts who were immediately sent to the battle line. And after that, Ukrainian forces damaged bridges, which doesn't allow them to move back. And they are trying to move back and changing clothes. Russian soldiers are wearing civilian clothes, and 1 day before, during the night after Ukrainian forces blow, was destroyed similar to breach. They tied few ships, and it managed to give them opportunity to move. And this blow eliminated these ships, and where died Russia's officials and Russia's propaganda journalists.
So sorry for crossing you. So at this journey, are you saying that Russia are more looking like engaging in some form of guerrilla warfare? From the standpoint, they are now dressing in civilian clothing? Some of the soldiers?
Now, I think behavior Russian troops in Ukraine, it's a challenge for all countries, because we didn't expect that they were going to fight with civilians, with the children, that they would use against the country all instruments. First of all, eliminating critical infrastructure. It's type of behavior terroristic regimes. And I wanted to tell you that European Parliament have recognized Russia terroristic country, and in real, it's their behavior unpredictable, and they, for example, stealing from occupied cities and settlements ordinary things, for example, wash machines and something from kitchens, and there were a lot of facts that they were trying to steal computers, telephones, and it's awful. It's behavior second biggest army in Ukraine, and because of it, I'd say that all countries must be ready to answer together with Ukraine. And I wanted to say that now Ukrainian forces are fighting against Russians, and I wanted to say that Russia's president ordered to draft new army, because first army was eliminated Ukrainian troops, and they are forming a new army. They officially informed that they will draft 300,000 soldiers, but unofficially we have information that they decided to draft about 1 million soldiers to continue fighting in Ukraine. And we understand that Russia is maybe 10 times power than Ukraine, and we understand that we have Western support, which allow us to hold the budgeting in everyday's life, and to provide our troops all really necessary things. And I'd say that now we understand that they are trying to use against Ukraine so-called terroristic weapon. It's drones, which are holding about 40 kilos blast to explode civilian infrastructure. And 1 week ago, they eliminated residential house in the city center, and they blow ground place in the center city park in Kiev, and they continue using this type of behavior. And
My concern, though, Vasil, with
yeah.
winter closely approaching us, and this war seems to prolong, how would the odds stack against the Russians versus the Ukrainians?
I think that time will show. We will do all we can. First of all, residents of Ukraine were warned that we will have really difficult, most difficult season, heating season for all times. And I think Ukrainians looking for better way to maybe to go out from the big cities, maybe to save up electricity, maybe to help authorities in repairing any energy systems nets. And I think we will manage to do it. And I wanted to say that we hope that we will have new systems which would allow us to prevent it to shoot down missiles, different type of missiles. And Iran provided drones because now we can tell that our air defense system can shoot down from time to time from 50 to 80% missiles and drones. But we are fighting and shooting this threats down from Ukraine-produced and Soviet-type missile system. But now we are learning how to prevent them and hope that we will receive more sophisticated technology. For example, Ukraine received from Germany IRIS system, which allow to defend one of the region, and now it's working at the south just to defend seaports. And according to recommendation we received from Germany's government, and I'd say that further cooperation would allow us to receive NASAM system, and maybe we will have, as a result, new technologies playing, which would allow us to close our sky and to provide security country. And now it's long-term discussions. I understand that Russia has a lot of income from selling their energy resources. First of all, I'd say that they are continue cooperating and selling natural gas. Yes, the volume is maybe 2 times less than before, but they continue receiving higher profits because of rising prices, and they have a lot of profits from oil. They are continue selling, and European country sanctions will get in force only since 5th of December. And we know that they are looking for new routes for transporting and new countries to sell their oil and continue cooperation. And we understand that sanctions cannot act immediately because
Right.
it's a long-term instrument, and these instruments cannot allow to stop them immediately.
Right.
And I'd say that Russians are going to continue fighting with Ukraine because you know that they decided to recognize Ukraine territory and called it part of Russia. And now is big threat that they can use against Ukraine army, and Ukrainians nuclear weapon now is being discussed using by Russians tactical
Right.
nuclear weapon, and them they captured Ukraine nuclear power station, which has six reactor, and its biggest nuclear power plant in Europe. And last just before this events in Kherson, and I wanted to remind that it's only city which big city region city which was captured during this their so-called operation. Really, it's Russia's Ukrainian war, and they are threatening that they would explode dams and equipment hydro electro station near Kherson. And it's type of threats, and they are using all instruments just to undermine morale of Ukrainians. And
Yeah,
sorry.
Sorry, that's okay. One of the things I want to ask you, though, I see that Putin's ambition right now took some of the focus off of fighting the Ukrainian military and reflecting it onto the civilians. They are just killing the civilians out, bombing civilian places. And this is a sign of serious desperation. Do you think that he, at this time, is trying to get his folks together that when winter comes in, that he may have the upper hand? Or should you think now at this juncture, Ukraine should even push a little bit harder to reclaim as much territory as they possibly can?
In my opinion, I'd say that now we can see their weak point, and we can see that they cannot manage to fight with Ukrainian forces, because every day they have losses 6.5 times more losses Russia soldiers than Ukrainians. And they sent to battle line unprepared soldiers. The soldiers which didn't have any preparing or drills, and they understand that they are short of military ammunition and military vehicles, tanks, and military techniques. And because of it, they started working this type. They started fighting with civilians, and I think that this is the way they are trying to force Ukrainian power to sign peace agreement or ceasefire and hold under control Ukraine's territory. Ukraine's power understands that its type of ceasefire would give them opportunity to gain power and to continue fighting. And because of it, we understand that any negotiations with the Russia Federation without guarantees for Ukraine shouldn't start. We can start. We can start cooperating only with our friends, with Western countries who's with us today. And first of all, I'd like to say thanks all Americans for support, because we have received a lot of ammunition, military equipment, and a lot of advice concerning behavior Ukrainian troops, and information which would allow us to teach our soldiers. And because of it, we are sure that we will continue fighting and liberating Ukrainian territories will take place soon. And according to the international experts, this liberation will come during the half year, maybe. But and we must fight. We have no choice, because if we stop fighting, we will see Ukraine. All Ukraine, we had seen territories which were under Russia's occupation, and now we can see their behavior. Now they are forcing civilians to move to Russia, and they have to leave their settlements. Because they are trying to give them Russia's passports, that they are Russians now. And after Ukrainians take their passports, they will be sent to Siberia, or women will be sent to Siberia, and men will be drafted to Russia's army to fight against Ukraine army. We know this type of tactics because we know that they have formed a few military units from people who were forcibly drafted to fight against Ukraine. And they are trying to avoid, and from time to time we can see information that the soldiers are surrendering to Ukrainian troops at the battle line. And because of it, we're trying to continue cooperation with our European partners concerning additional and more sophisticated maybe weapon which would allow us to prevent their hits to civilian infrastructure, because I can say that it's quite difficult to live without electricity when they targeted all Ukrainian electricity power stations and hope that it will make us to surrender. And it's mistaken, and Ukrainians will be continue liberating our territory, and we believe that we will achieve it maybe during this time, during the winter, and we understand that they understand that our forces can do it, and because of it, they try to weaken them, to frighten Ukrainians during this this type of war we world haven't seen since Second World War.
So at this juncture, do you believe that Ukraine is standing on good grounds and victory is on their side?
Yeah, thank you, thank you. We believe that we will do our best, and we believe that we are together with Western countries, with United States, with EU neighbors, with Canada, with Great Britain, and together we will win. Together we will show that democracy can have opportunity to defend. Democracy has advantages and disadvantages, but it's fighting for their freedom. People who are fighting for our freedom, and because of it, I'm sure
Vassal, we
that
are now coming to the last 2 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
We definitely will keep in touch.
Yes,
And
thank
definitely
you.
we would look forward to be continuing this conversation again and keeping update on what's going on in Ukraine as this war prolongs.
Okay, thank you, Earl, for invitation. Thank you that you are with us, because it's so important for us. Because
all those who have been tuning in or living in the
our
21st
cooperation
century, I
and
want to
our
say have a nice day.